but it's heading this way.
Look, the part of me that got hit in the face with your stick this morning wants you to go for it, but the part of me that wants to survive this says, stay here.
I like the part of you that I hit with the stick.
You hear this creaking and shattering of these trees just kind of off in the distance, and you hear these very loud thumping footsteps.
It's gone.
They seem almost like they're small earthquakes with the size of the footsteps that these are.
Oh no.
You just had to mention Omega Squirrels.
Does Orlo hear anything particular about it beyond that?
I guess what specifically would you be looking for? What do you mean?
Like any noises from whatever is pushing or moving the trees?
You would hear some skittering and things of other critters as they're leaving the area expeditiously, but nothing specifically from what would be making that the sound.
What direction? So from the left side or right side?
So it's kind of off to your front left side.
How much more river do we have? Can we just go?
You haven't really hit any great landmarks for Orlo to be able to tell you exactly where you are, but you kind of would have a pretty good idea that you were pretty close comparably. Maybe another hour and a half, 2 hours at most.
Would I know of any fey, fiends, or undead in this region that would match that size?
You would not know anything offhand, no.
Emmerin, do you know what that is?
He's just gonna stare off in the distance, just like with his look in his eye, and just shake his head slow, like.
You said the river is slowing down. Is it? If I were to remove the oar and stop paddling, will we still be drifting along at a decent speed?
Yes, you definitely would still be moving without a question. You wouldn't be going quite as fast, but you definitely would be still moving.
I'm going to navigate the boat to the opposite side of the river of where the sound is coming from. So
gotcha.
Just enough room to float, but not so we damage the boat or anything. But if we need to hop off, we can hop off. And I'm gonna raise the oar out of the water, just so we're as natural as possible, just in case this thing has or whatever it is has great hearing.
Gotcha.
Question.
Go ahead.
Do Buttonhead spores reach everybody right now?
They probably would just be between you, Orlo, and Buttonhead.
Okay. Then I'll just think in my head I guess Buttonhead can hear me too, but to Orlo. Maybe we should just use the telepathy, unless there's something we need to communicate with them, just to be extra quiet.
I just think in my head, absolutely. I don't want to startle whatever is making that noise.
Yeah, we're not near any trees for you to climb in the river.
Just glare.
As you guys continue kind of moving on down, you do hear these thumps and this cracking of these trees. Like it is very clear what this is. That it is very large, and it is crushing these trees out of the way and just snapping them like they're absolutely nothing. And as your eyes kind of settle into the darkness, you do see something kind of moving across the top of the tree line. And it's hard to make out exactly what it is. And it's even harder to tell because what it is seems to have, it looks like the wilderness kind of as part of it. Like you can see that it's got like trees and plants and things kind of growing out of it as it's moving through, but you can see the top of it most certainly moving over the tops of these trees.
Well, I was going to say it was a smoke monster, but
I was already disappointed by one smoke monster. Let's not go there.
So is this thing just heading? Is it heading towards the river, or is it parallel to the river?
It's moving towards the river, but it doesn't look. It's not like it's heading right for you. It's just heading in the direction of.
It, like, if we give it more time, it's gonna like eventually be crossing the river.
It's possible, yeah, unless it decides to turn.
Is it still like in front of us, or is it like getting to where it's behind us? Or...
It's still very much like to your front left.
Dang it. Okay.
Well, we could try pulling the boats over and trying to hide and let it pass.
You know what? Honestly, I think that might be the best idea.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay. So then all four of you go ahead and give me stealth rolls, please.
Give me the boots. I need the boots.
20.
How much do I have active? How active is this item that I'm wearing? Because you said I don't really know a whole ton about it, so
what you have seen of it. So there's something in your character sheet that I added to, so that's as much as you know about it.
Okay, so I'll pull the hood up.
I rolled a 7, by the way.
All right, I gotta roll again. So 17 for me.
21.
And Laya.
Oh, sorry. I thought you heard me. I got a 20.
Okay, so you guys get out of the boat, and actually, Laya, as you jump out of the boat, you're still kind of in the water. When you jump out of the boat, you land very gingerly on top of it.
I'm sorry, what?
You land on top of it.
Of the water?
Of the water.
Cool.
I'm just gonna like look down and like my jaw is just gonna drop and I'm gonna like look at Orlo like, do you see this shit?
And then I'm like, we're like, am I pulling the boat out, or are we still getting to the side?
You were both about like jumping out to kind of pull the boat out of the water.
So she jumped out first, and I wasn't really paying attention, and I like jumped out into the water and like started pulling the boat around like onto shore, and then like as I like scoop Buttonhead out of the boat and turn around and see her just standing there, and I'm just like just kind of like, what? Like just start like, I like in my other hand that's not holding Buttonhead, I like take bone breaker and I just like hit the water and like see it splashing.
And I'm gonna like, I'm trying to be quiet, so I'm not gonna speak, but I'm gonna like wave frantically at like Flo and Emmerin and be like.
So you see Laya just waving her hands in the middle of the water.
Just gonna start gesturing. I'm like,
I'm gonna take like I'm gonna like when I see him being like that, I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, and and take like a testing step to make sure I can still like walk on it. And assuming that is fine, then I'm just gonna like run on top of the water, I guess.
And you'll notice that as you do, you take this very gentle, like toe cartoon step to make sure your foot stays on top, and then you just take off running, but you don't make any noise as you do. And as you guys kind of pull the boats off to the side, you kind of scrape them on the bottom, and you can definitely hear that. But over the noise of the trees cracking and the thunderous footsteps, you feel that you're pretty safe off the side of the water. You kind of push yourselves back into the tree line a little bit to make sure that you break yourselves up. And you're kind of just staring at this figure as it kind of looms over the tops of the trees.
And then I think in my head, since Buttonhead is with all of us now, guys, I think I should try and climb one of these trees and get a better view.
No,
it is crushing trees, and no.
But it's across the river.
But it's heading this way.
Look, the part of me that got hit in the face with your stick this morning wants you to go for it, but the part of me that wants to survive this says fucking stay here.
I like the part of you that I hit with the stick.
Trust me, he's looking better and better.
All right. You know what? We'll keep an eye on it, but if it turns and starts to walk away, I'm climbing one of these trees.
So you guys kind of just give it a few minutes, and as you see this thing, you do see it finally start to cross into kind of a more open area. You see some of the trees kind of snapping and pushing over into the way of the river. And they kind of fall over, crossing the river, and kind of start to make a somewhat of a dam. It doesn't stop the water flow completely, but enough that it's definitely a lot less than what it was. But you can see this huge creature as it kind of looms out of the shadow of these trees. And it walks on 4 legs, but it's this massive creature that kind of it looks similar to the shape of what a dog would look like or something like that. Very long, slender body, but it's very tall, and it has all of these vines and trees and just ferns, everything kind of growing out of it. It looks like just a massive walking ecosystem of its own. It has no regard for the trees that it's walking through whatsoever, and it moves through them without any effort at all.
We get a look at its face.
It's hard to make out very distinct details because it is darker, but you can definitely see a longer distended jaw, and it hangs a little bit, and it kind of like a turtle to an extent.
Is it walking on 2 legs or 4 legs?
It walks on 4 legs.
So it's a tall 4-legged ecosystem with the face of a turtle?
To an extent, sure. It's a good way to give you a good picture.
So it's a Pokemon.
Who's that Pokemon?
It's
Would
Pikachu.
you say it's turtly enough for the Turtle Club?
Turtle. Turtle.
That's a Dana Carvey reference, kids.
I missed that movie.
Oh boy.
Just so you know, I was trying to write down turtle face in my notes, and I literally wrote turtle enough.
Turtly enough for the Turtle Club?
You got
That's it. I'm calling that creature Dana Carvey from now on. Like, sorry, Ducky. All right, so we're laying low. We're gonna let this thing go.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
So
suppose.
you guys see it as it's kind of crossing over the open parts of the river, and it's leaving pretty large steps in its wake, and it just crosses over the river and continues on with its path. You're not sure where exactly it's going, but it doesn't seem to notice you at all.
Well, that's great. Mission accomplished. Now we have the issue of the trees. But it is late. It's in the night. How big is this tree that's blocking?
There's a couple of them that have fallen across the river. They're pretty large, but again, it hasn't blocked the water completely, but it is definitely going to slow the pace that you guys were used to if you want to just get back on it.
Orlo, do we have any idea how far away we are on foot?
Do we?
You would guess, just judging by the speed at which you were traveling and the speed that you can travel walking, you're maybe 3 hours out at most.
3 hours out by walking?
By walking.
Yeah. Emmerin, we're, from what I can tell, maybe 3 hours, as long as we don't run into anything like what we just saw.
It might be faster to proceed on foot rather than clear the trees off the river and get going, but I'll leave it to you.
I mean, we get more coverage walking through the forest at this point.
That's true. A little bit more open now.
We don't know what we'll be walking into. I do have tools to help with clearing the trees, but walking might be better.
Are we just not going to talk about the fact that I can walk on water?
I'm sorry, that seems to be the least of our fucking worries right now.
I'm not worried. I'm excited.
Well, that's fantastic, dear. Maybe you can get out and start lifting the trees out of the river then.
Yeah, if you want to walk alongside in the river, by all means, go ahead. I'm sticking into the forest.
I just kind of look at Flo.
You can walk in the river.
Oh, yes! And I'm just going to like run over. and I'm going to once again take a testing step onto the water.
I just want to say this is big golden retriever energy.
So you step out into the water and your foot just settles on top of it with no problem.
I'm going to jump on the water. Just jump up and down on it.
You jump up and down and you can see the water splashing up, but you don't hear any sound.
Is it like a trampoline, or is it like hard concrete?
It's like she's walking on the ground, just water.
That's unfortunate.
So you guys decided to continue off on foot.
Mm-hmm.
Si, senor.
Are you just going to follow the river, or are you going to try to just walk through the woods?
Probably halfway there. We can follow the river, but once we start getting closer, it'd be better to use whatever cover we have.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna like try and be like not on the bank of the river, but like in the tree line a little bit.
Gotcha.
Close to the trees, you know, just in case.
Sure.
You need to climb one.
So you guys kind of start off and you're feeling pretty good because for the most part, you didn't really exert yourselves all that much. It is getting a little bit late at this point. So you might be feeling a little bit more tired than usual, but as far as exhaustion setting in or anything, you guys are very well off. So you stick to the tree line a bit, you follow the river through, and after about 2.5 hours, you can you get to a point where you can see where some of the tree line starts to show that there is something sitting further off in the distance, which you would only imagine would be the city that you are going to.
Okay, so at that point, I will stop walking on water for now and move back over with the group.
Okay. So you said at this point you kind of wanted to move into the trees a little bit more and move a little bit more stealthy, yes?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, then all four of you, if you would give me stealth checks, please.
The dice is not nice tonight. I rolled a 1.
Well, my disadvantage brought me down there with you. I got a 3.
16.
14.
Yeah, I got 6 total, but natural 1.
Yeah, natural
Gotcha.
1 too.
Yeah, that natural disadvantage is unfortunate for you, Flo.
Yeah.
Brutal.
Yeah, so you guys definitely you can tell that you're not moving as stealthily as you would like. You're making a little bit more noise than normal, but you're also very excited to kind of get a move on and get here and figure out what's going on. So you're moving a little bit quicker than you probably should be, but you have an air of stealth to you. You're like a La Croix with just a waft of stealth over the top of your group. And as you guys kind of get closer, you can see the bridge, one of the bridges that crosses over the river into the city.
Is there any traffic on the bridge? Any like foot traffic? Any?
There's nobody that you can see at all, no. Because if you remember, this is not a active city. It is something that has been abandoned.
Okay.
Is it still nighttime or is the sun starting?
No, it is. It's probably about 3 a.m. at this point.
I'm going to think in my head instead of speaking out loud. Should we watch until the sun comes up and just keep an eye on things before we go in? Or should we, if we want, I can try to sneak around in there now.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, is it might be advantageous to go in with the cover of night rather than waiting until the sun comes up, and people might be more active if there is anybody in there or anything.
But if there is anything in there now, we take the risk of looking like a raiding party.
No one's going to hear me in my boots.
Emmerin said there's not many people down here, not many militias or raiding parties or anything like that, so
Not as far as I knew, but I didn't even know this place was here. I don't think I did, right?
No, you didn't know it was here. Well, you knew that it was here at one point, but you didn't know that it was still here.
Oh, right. I thought this place... Hold on. Lost my accent. As far as I know, there's nothing down here, but as far as I knew, this place was abandoned decades ago, generations ago. So I don't know what to tell you. All the ideas are good.
Yeah, why don't we let Laya go in and do some recon? I wouldn't go too far in, but maybe that is the way to go.
Tell you what, I'll go with her. I can stay quiet as well.
I'm just gonna roll my eyes.
Not that you can't handle it, but if something happens to you, at least I can come back and let them know.
All right, so go ahead, Laya and Emmerin. Give me stealth checks, please.
Besides, I look so good in my cloak.
I got an 11. My streak is over.
Nat 20.
Well,
Or
shit.
29.
Nice. So, Laya, you don't make any noise, but you're not particularly trying to hide because you don't make any noise, so you're not thinking about it. Emmerin, you very easily kind of just slink in behind her, and you are relatively quiet comparatively. But how far of a lead are you going to give her?
That's up to her. She seemed rather annoyed at Emmerin coming along, so she can have whatever lead she wants.
You all treat me like a child. I may be a child, but that doesn't mean you have to treat me like one.
I was like, I don't know how to answer that, but okay.
I'm an adult.
2 stealth heads are better than 1.
So here, I'll make this. So Laia kind of takes off running into over the water across, through the bridge, into the other side, and she kind of starts moving in towards where the city entrance starts, as Emmerin kind of just slinks in behind her across the bridge, staying a little bit behind just to make sure that he stays out of sight. And Laia, just give me a perception check real quick as well.
8.
Gotcha. So you run in, and you're kind of overwhelmed by everything that's going on. You can see that at one point that this was a massive, bustling city. There, it looks like it was left very quickly. There's still carts, and the doors are still swung open, but everything is overgrown with moss and trees and plants. And as you're kind of moving your way through, you come to a intersection, and you walk out into it a little bit. And as you do, you notice not too far away from you, there is a person standing there. And with that is where we will take our break.